is in storage? Well, looks like we're about to find out. And let's do that by starting with the IMDb plot. When a highly dangerous fungus escapes from a secret laboratory, a former bioterrorism agent is called back into action. Alongside two young employees, he must confront an invisible and out of control threat. All right, so yeah, cold storage. Admittedly, I remember sharing the press release for this one when it came out, or when it was about to come out at Promote Horror. Wasn't sure, honestly, whether I was going to see it or not. Then, as it released, kind of saw, some questionable reviews for it. I guess, not many, but the few that I kind of, and not full reviews, maybe just comments there on Twitter. Didn't seem like a lot of people were jumping on the film's bandwagon for those that did see it. And so I wasn't really sure. I was like, am I going to really watch this or not? But then I decided, okay, as I kind of come across it, I'm like, okay, we'll give it a watch and see what happens here. And I'll give you my ending thoughts shortly about whether that was a good decision or not. And but yeah, obviously, I think Liam Neeson being in it, kind of made me want to see it. I was like kind of curious, even though, I was kind of worried, he might have one of those roles where he's in it for like, 5 minutes and then, not. But he plays a decent role in it. In the little summary there, it kind of makes it seem like the movie's from his standpoint. Again, he is in the film and in the film a decent amount. But I think, it's the two employees that are in this storage unit that the film kind of follows a little bit more and not really given total credit for there in that little summary there. Anyway, what is going on here, and to give you a little bit more information, we do see an opening scene here where a woman has stumbled upon, wherever this fungus has come from. Looks like it might be of alien origin. Not 100% sure about that. But in this certain area, and she calls in two other agents, and obviously Liam is one of those agents, and we have a pretty good opening scene there. We see things not go exactly as planned. We see a little bit about the fungus or whatever. So it was a decent opening introduction here to what may come. And, then it kind of fast forward some time. And now in that area, apparently, is a storage unit where we meet one guy who's going to, I guess, work the kind of late shift, overnight shift here at this storage unit, and then another young woman who also is there to accompany him overnight there. And, as the night kind of goes on, they get a little curious and kind of there's this sound that is being, every once in a while, kind of like a random sound that's going off. And, they're curious and they kind of want to be like, okay, what is this? And, let's silence this. So they start, sorting around the storage place there. Figure that it's coming behind a wall, make a hole, start going, making their own path, let's just say. And in doing so, they basically stumble upon this fungus and kind of have accidentally released it. But let's not say that fungus is only from there. There's another moment of maybe the fungus is still, out and about as well. And maybe also coming to the storage unit as well. So, as this goes on, as we kind of see them getting closer and closer to this fungus and so forth, we also see Liam Neeson's character, which is, he's like kind of almost retired, but not totally. kind of gets alerted that something might be going on. So, he calls in, gets this woman that's kind of at this military whatever thing to kind of help him out, to get him on the right track to where this is. He goes and meets an old contact, the other woman who he was with in the opening scene. Obviously, she's older now, and to kind of say, hey, it might be back. I'm gonna go investigate. They're not really 100% sure what's going on, but they are. So with the help of this military girl, they're, or him specifically, is kind of headed to this storage unit as well. But obviously the two people at the unit kind of have to confront this before he even gets there. And there's some other stuff going on here. I don't want to go too much further. Not that there's huge spoiler alert here or anything like that. I think it's pretty much self-explanatory what is happening here. But there are, a couple of other events that are kind of playing out, mostly amongst the characters and so forth. But I guess the real draw here and fun part of it is kind of the fungus and what it does, kind of getting in people, and it also is going to get in animals. And I thought the animals were a fun part of it and what happens there. I won't get into too much detail in that and let you guys kind of enjoy it. For those who have not seen it and are going to watch it, I'll let you guys enjoy that, particularly with a cat. I liked that. I mean, if you're a cat person, you might not. But that was an interesting moment, and I enjoyed that. It kind of becomes blood and guts, but, not totally, because it's kind of like, slime matter, fungus, kind of stuff, as opposed to being totally blood and guts in moments where, let's just say, people who are infected, kind of meet their end. So it's not, it's kind of a mixture of blood and guts, but not totally. As it kind of says here in the IMDb here, it's splatter horror. So yeah, it's kind of like that. So, while not all totally blood, it does have some fun moments there, both with animal and human. So I liked that. That was some fun stuff. They did some good stuff there. Definitely enjoyed that. But yeah, I think, if you're, kind of coming in with a serious thought on this movie and watch it from a serious view, maybe you won't enjoy it. Maybe if you just kind of bring it down a notch and kind of enjoy some of that splatter and fun, maybe you'll enjoy it a little bit more. And, I don't think Liam he doesn't play it totally hard-nosed like, maybe some of his, previous, maybe serious action films. He kind of plays it down the middle. There is some slight humor there with his partner, and then even later on in a later scene where he has an accident, let's just say, and then what happens with that. That was a little funny. So he doesn't play his total action hero thing. He kind of plays it in the middle, where he is a little bit of the hero, but is still maybe a little clumsy, and definitely has some semi-humorous lines, let's just say. As far as the two characters that are in the storage unit, the guy and the girl, they're okay. I wasn't totally sold on them. I again, there's some slight humor there. They did have some moments, and other moments, I'm not going to say I was totally buying them and as their characters or just what is going on. So, that's 50-50. I think, that's something you guys will have to kind of figure out when you're watching it, whether you've liked what they've given you or not. Yeah, like I said, I think they're okay in some moments, and other moments, it's just like, okay, whatever. But yeah, and I'll be honest, like I said, I even though I decided to watch it, I also was not 100% sure I wasn't even going to review it. This was, kind of teetering on, one of those that I watched and maybe decided not to review. But I think, for those who might like, as they say here in the IMDb plot here, or on IMDb, I should say, splatter horror, you might find some enjoyment in it. I'm not going to say they go to the huge extreme, and maybe they could have done, a little bit more, but I think that element of it I enjoyed enough, and kind of wanted to at least kind of bring that to you guys, and say that if you enjoy that or want to see that in a horror movie, maybe haven't seen that necessary element in a while. I know we've seen maybe some body horror, but that doesn't necessarily mean kind of splatters, whatever. It kind of depends. But we've kind of seen this kind of go back to we have seen some body horror movies recently, and some really good ones. So maybe it's definitely not going to dive totally into that area. But I thought it had some fun moments. Maybe with the animals a little bit better than the humans, but still it's still pretty good. And maybe I wish that maybe they would have pushed it a little bit more. Again, I don't know their budget. I don't know if they spent all their budget on Liam. But not that it was bad, but maybe I would have liked them to maybe just push the splatter a touch more than they did. But still, I enjoyed that element of it as well. So I don't think that the movie was as bad as maybe some of the tweets that I saw. Obviously, not a huge Oscar winner here or anything like that. I think once you kind of see what's going on here is pretty much the standard, what you would expect. But I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I didn't like, oh man, why did I decide? I knew I should have listened to those people and just not watched the movie. I thought it was okay enough, and was, had like I said, some decent humor in it at times, and definitely enjoyed the splatter for the most part. So with all of that, I think I'm just gonna give it 2.5 pools of blood. Somewhere in the middle. Obviously it's going to get some marks just for the splatterness and the funness, and for what the cat happens to the cat. Definitely enjoyed that moment. So yeah, we're going to give it 2.5 pools of blood out of 5. And with that, horror_reviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, written and video. Certainly tons of video reviews for a while now, so you can like, subscribe, and do everything else that everybody wants to do here on YouTube. If not, no worries. It is okay. I thank you for your time regardless. Twitter, Facebook information down below. You can reach out to me there. Talk about this movie. If you do watch it and hate it, you can say, hey, I didn't really like this movie. Why'd you make me watch this? Or in the comment section, once you see what happens to the cat. Did you enjoy that or not? Or are you a cat person and you hate me now for making you watch that? Regardless, with that, I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.